To start, I'll mention what I said in the previous video. Astrology measurements can frequently seem a little bit like horseshoes or grenades. As long as you're close, it will work, especially when big events happen and you see the corresponding transit a little later than expected. This is because the energy of the new planet or sign is in the air, so to speak. And so, for example, women achieved voting status in 1920. In that year, Eris was transiting in very late Pisces and would not brush into Aries, the sign you might expect to correlate with this momentous achievement, until 1922. But you also notice that from late Pisces, Eris does make a trine to a precession-corrected US Mercury, and you realize that it might be enough to account for at least the voting right to be enshrined back in 1920. The full-on 127-year transit of Eris through Aries starts in 1927, but as it turns out, women voted approximately the same way as men until 1980, when they started to vote more Democratic than Republican. Astrologically, why would that be? Well, it seems that from 1927 until 1980, Eris went through squares to the USA Jupiter and Venus, but it wasn't until the greater effect of a sun square that they really began to make their presence felt as an individuated, so to speak, voting bloc, which is what happened by 1980. It's revealing, and at least a little stunning, to realize that if the vote had been women only in all elections starting from 1988, then every single election would have elected a Democratic president. Now here is some more interesting information. Look at these voting breakdowns for the last 6 elections. Women vote more Democratic in every single case. Eris was discovered in 2005, and you can see that all by themselves, they've decided 2 key elections. The 2012 victory for Obama would have gone to Romney without the women vote. Mitt is a very nice and courteous man, but he couldn't get himself to say women should be paid as much as men, and then he brought in the binders full of women thing, which obviously didn't help. In 2016, of course, more women voted for Hillary than for Trump, but it wasn't enough to tilt it her way because he managed a fluke, winning the Midwest states in a squeaker. And now, 2020, the most awful year in most people's history, and as would fit the description, an election featuring major strife and bitterness, but very clear evidence that women tilted it to Biden. Were it not for the women vote, the Orange Menace would still be president. Eris strikes again.